Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, Certificate Programs, Certificate in Apparel Merchandising, CAPMER, BHC-05 Basics of Apparel Industry and Entrepreneurship, Block -1, Unit 3, Organizational Setup of a Garment Manufacturing Unit. 3.0, Objectives. Apparel manufacturing industry is a major source of livelihood for millions of families across the globe. Hence, textiles and apparel have retained an important place in human life from historical era to today's modern world. Apparel or garments, which are produced either for domestic or export purposes, are manufactured in a unit under an organizational setup. To execute any order, one has to make sure that all the activities are well planned. After reading this unit, you would be able to describe the organizational structure of a garment manufacturing unit, explain the functioning of various departments, discuss the importance of various departments in a garment manufacturing unit, and examine the role of human resource engaged in the garment industry at various levels. 3.1 Introduction. All over the world, clothes were traditionally manufactured for the local market, but over the past 30 years or so, the garment industry has evolved from custom fitting and assembling of individual hand-sewn garments to the mechanized, automated and sometimes robotized and customized production and distribution of ready-to-wear in the global market. As already discussed in Unit 1 and 2 of this block, Indian apparel industry not only strengthens the country's economy but also supports the lives of millions of people of the country. 1 out of every 6 households in India depends on this sector either directly or indirectly for its livelihood. The structure of the Indian apparel manufacturing industry is quite complex. Traditionally, the industry has been divided into 2 sectors, namely exports and domestic. India is one of the largest garment manufacturers in the world and has made its name by producing high-quality garments for all segments of the society. Most of the garment manufacturers are small and medium-sized firms. The Indian apparel industry has grown steadily in the past few years, as Indians are becoming more and more fashion-conscious. Hence, the demand and consumption has also increased gradually. Another key advantage of this industry is abundant availability of raw materials. Silk, cotton and jute, all nature-based fiber resources are available in abundance in India. India is the largest producer of jute and the second largest producer of cotton in the world. Additionally, India is also the second largest producer of synthetic fibers after China globally. As a result, a number of fibers are used in the Indian apparel industry like cotton, jute, wool, silk, man-made and synthetic fibers. Further, the Indian garment industry manufactures and exports garments at affordable prices due to cheap wage rates. Retailers are increasingly coming to India for the low production costs here like Walmart, Tesco, M&S to name a few. 3.2 Organizational Structure. As the clothes are manufactured in a garment manufacturing unit, there is no doubt in saying that without a proper organizational structure, this rapid development and sustainability are not possible. Each garment manufacturing unit is an organization in itself where a group of people work together to achieve the targets defined by the higher authorities. It is needless to say that the growth of organization depends on the successful organizational setup. Organization structure is the identification and grouping of work to be performed for the purpose of enabling the people to work together to get the objective and to share the work among them in an effective and efficient way so that everyone knows whom to contact for a specific problem. A garment manufacturing unit is also defined as an organizational structure consisting of activities of task allocation, coordination and supervision amongst various people of the organization which addresses towards the achievement of the aims of the organization. It can also be considered as an outlook through which individuals see the environment of their organization. This unit aims at familiarizing you about the organizational structure of a garment manufacturing unit. As defined by Pew, an organizational structure defines how activities such as task allocation, coordination and supervision are directed towards the achievement of organizational aims. An organizational chart is a pictorial representation of a company's structure and may not be the same in all organizations. Figure 3.1. Organizational structure determines the manner and extent to which roles and responsibilities of the work are delegated, coordinated and controlled. It also depicts how the information flows between different levels of management. Figure 3.1. Organizational structure of a garment manufacturing unit. Look at the screen for table content. A structure depends entirely on an organization's objectives and strategy chosen to achieve them. The decision-making power is wholly directed in the top layer of management, and there is a tight control over departments and divisions in a centralized structure, whereas in a decentralized structure, decision-making power is distributed and the various departments have their autonomy. Organizations are structured in various ways as per the objectives defined for them. Organizational structure determines the modes of its operations and performance. A balanced organization structure assigns responsibilities for various functions to different entities such as departments, groups and individuals of the organization. A good organization structure has two signs. 1. That it provides the foundation on which the operating methods and the routine of the organization rests. And secondly, that it determines the roles and responsibilities of the team, individuals towards their roles assigned and their involvement in the decision-making processes, and also to what extent their views shape the organization's actions. The features of an organization are as follows. Well-defined objectives. Organized and coordinated group of people work under an executive leadership. Proper division of work and responsibilities for the employees. Clear and well-defined policies and procedures. Effective communication. This unit will further acquaint you with the understanding of the various departments of the garment manufacturing unit. 3.3. Departments in a garment/apparel manufacturing unit. Business organizations should work as a team with interactive organizational structures. Decision-making for a manufacturing firm revolves around an order that will meet the needs of the buyer. Each department of the unit has its own objectives and responsibilities. At the same time, departments must interact and coordinate their activities in order to achieve their common goals, meeting buyer needs/serving the target customer, growing and making a profit. The garment manufacturing unit, whether large or small, requires expertise in executive leadership, quick response, marketing, merchandising, production, operations and finance. Let us now discuss the various departments of a garment manufacturing and export unit. Planning. The planning department has a vital role to play in the approval of order and helps merchants to determine the costing of a particular style. The department also tells merchants if the company is capable of producing a particular style in a given span of time and helps them to know the capacity of the production floor. On receiving the orders from the merchants, they start to decide the dates of executing the order/orders, which also involves production and the finishing department. Then the department will allocate the style to a unit whichever has a capacity of completing the project based on the line openings and also buyer specification and the skill of labor required for it. The planning department then calculates and plans the PCD, plan, cut, date, order, quality, sample, order breakup. The planning department keeps constant touch with most of the departments like the merchandising, production, marketing etc. in case there are any changes in the line of style or any such modifying situation. Then the department updates the merchandising department so that they can further communicate with the buyer and also maintain a hard copy of it for future reference. Purchasing. The purchasing department is similar to the sourcing department, but the main difference is that the sourcing department works for the fabrics alone and the purchasing department works for sourcing the accessories and trims. However, it depends from one organization to another. Here is a brief detail, which will give you an idea of the working procedure. The purchasing department is given the BOM, bill of materials, for the style on order by the merchandiser, and then the sourcing will take place by the department at their end. The in-house pricing is given for costing purpose to the merchandiser. The breakup is given to the merchandiser by the purchasing department for the costing purpose, and the final cost sheet is made by the merchandisers. After evaluating the cost sheet, the buyer confirms the order to the merchandiser. Once the order is confirmed, the merchandiser plans and coordinates with other concerned departments for the exact quantity required, and the breakup of trims and accessories with respect to color, size, mock, minimum order quantity, etc. will be given by the merchandiser to the purchasing department in the form of a sheet, which is generally followed in the industry for all the orders irrespective of buyer. Once the purchasing department receives this format, a PO, purchase order, is sent to the concerned department for fabrics, accessories and trims. After receiving the first shot of all the ordered materials from the supplier, the lab dips are sent by the merchandiser to the buyer for their approval. After receiving the goods from the supplier, they are checked for the quantity and also checked according to inspection criteria specified by the customer/buyer, and are also replaced if any of them are not meeting its criteria. The purchasing department also keeps track on all the quantities received in-house timely. Fabric sourcing. Sourcing deals with acquainting information about the required material from different sources and selecting the best material which suits in the budget as well as the specifications of the buyer. Fabric sourcing means sourcing the right kind of fabric, which fulfills the buyer's specifications. The fabric sourcing department works in coordination with the merchandising department and looks after the delivery of the required goods at the scheduled time and cost. Personnel in the fabric sourcing department must have knowledge about all varieties of fabrics available in the market, and here the team should be aware about the current/latest trends going on in the market. Figure 3.2 shows the fabric sourcing workflow in garment industry. Figure 3.2 Fabric sourcing workflow in garment industry. Look at the screen for table content. Accessories store. Accessories store acts as a store for accessories. The sewing threads, needles, zippers, buttons, velcro, hooks, linings, packaging material like poly bags, etc. are stored in the accessories store. As per the buyer's specifications, the accessories are ordered by the purchase department. Generally, a swatch card is prepared by the merchandiser for the required quantity of accessories. Accessories are also checked for their quality and color fastness. The accessories received are stored in various racks, and during the production they are issued to the production department. Merchandising. Merchandising department is a link between the buyer and the manufacturer/exporter. All the information related to order is passed through the merchandising department to the other departments. Merchandising is a process through which the orders are planned, manufactured, finished and presented/exported to the buyers as per their specifications. It includes directing and follow-up of the development of a product line from order/sampling to shipment. The merchandiser's key roles and responsibilities are as follows. Analysis of market and product. Internal and external communication. Sampling. Lab dips. Ordering accessories and trims. Preparing internal order sheets and purchase orders. Costing of the product. Advising and assisting production. Advising quality department about quality level. Mediating production and quality departments. Interface with manufacturing, sales and marketing. Giving shipping instructions and following shipping. Helping documentation department. Taking responsibility for inspections. Follow-up payments. In a garment manufacturing and export house, merchandising is a combination of business and technical aspects. A senior merchandiser coordinates with the buyer and looks into the complete product development, whereas a junior merchandiser assists a senior merchandiser in the paperwork and follow-up with the buyers. Merchandisers too negotiate with the buyers on costing, work out delivery schedule and investigate for future buyers. Hence it can be concluded that merchandising is a core department of the garment manufacturing and export unit. Another most important task of a merchandiser is to do costing of the product for the buyer so that the buyer can place order for bulk production. It includes cost of raw material, production, accessories, finishing, packaging, overheads, markups, etc. Sampling. A sample is a prototype of a product to be manufactured in future course of production. It is made to check the design effectiveness and fit of the garment. In a garment manufacturing and export unit, the sampling department plays a vital role in the uplifting of a unit. This department directly coordinates with the merchandising and production department, figure 3.3. As soon as the sampling department receives sample information from the merchant, proto-sample is developed for the design and style. When approved by the buyer, it is followed by making of a fit sample. Fit samples are made to confirm the measurements, fit and style, and also approval of the construction details. Then pre-production samples are made. These are garments produced on the actual production floor and not in the sample room. Made in actual fabric and trims. It should exactly match the buyer's specifications, and the bulk production starts only after the approval of pre-production samples. Size set samples are made to check the factory's capability to make the sample in all sizes. Figure 3.3. Workflow in sampling department. Looks at the screen for table content. Sampling also helps to check discrepancies in the pattern. Patterns are made according to buyer specifications. Generally, most of the exporters maintain a showroom, which displays various designs in the form of samples ready with them. A buyer has full liberty to select/redesign any sample from the buyer's showroom, but at the same time it is the duty of the owner/merchandiser that they don't offer samples of one buyer to any other buyer. Many garment manufacturing and export houses hire designers who can do fresh sampling for them. Apart from it, sampling is also done as per the buyer's specifications, and the initial samples are sent to the buyer for approval. The sampled garments represent the accuracy of the patterns and quality of production, skills and techniques. Sampling also helps to calculate the requirement of fabric, accessories, time for the development of the garment, and skills required for bulk production. Cutting room. Cutting means to separate the various garment parts from the layer of the fabric with the help of cutting template and devices. The fabric cutting takes place in the cutting room of any garment manufacturing unit. This is most decisive because once the fabric has been cut, very little can be done to rectify serious mistakes. The fabric is cut as per the defined pattern for different parts of the garment. Markings are made on the fabric that has been spread on the tables. It is then cut by the cutting machines. Figure 3.4. Wastage reduction is a key consideration during this step. The process flow in the cutting of a fabric for garment making is shown in Figure 3.5. Figure 3.4. Fabric cutting. Look at the screen for table content. Figure 3.5. Process flow in the cutting room. Look at the screen for table content. Marker making. Each style and size of the garment has a different need for the fabric. The measuring department associated with the cutting room calculates the fabric yardage as per the number of pieces on order, style and size of the design. These days computer software guides the technicians with the proper layout as per the style on order so the fabric can be used efficiently. The mathematical calculations help to know about the exact fabric consumption for an order instead of large paper sheets for calculating the yardage. The marker, which contains all necessary pattern pieces, is attached to the fabric with the help of adhesive stripping or staples. The marker making is done for optimum utilization of fabric, reduction of wastage of fabric, to speed the production process and to get maximum number of pattern pieces from one layer of fabric. Fabric spreading. The spreading machines help the fabric to stack in layers that may exceed above 100 feet, 30.5 meters, long and hundreds of fabric pieces together. Cutting. The cutting machines cut the fabric as per the suitability of the cloth. Sorting/bundling. Once the fabric is cut with the help of cutting machines, the patterns, bodice, sleeves, collars etc. are sorted according to size and design and are tied into bundles. A high amount of accuracy is needed at this step because a mismatched pattern in a bundle can create several problems later. There are specifications of the style and size on each of them. Sewing/assembling. The sorted bundles are further sent for stitching/assembling. Generally, large garment manufacturers prefer to assemble the pieces in-house and others outsource the sewing at contractual basis. However, to maintain quality of work, in-house stitching should be preferred. The different parts of the garment are stitched at different sewing stations, but there are many operators who perform a single operation. One operator may make only straight seams, while another may make sleeve insets and another two operators can sew waist seams and make buttonholes. There are different industrial sewing machines for various stitches applied on garments. The machines also have different configurations of the frame. While assembling, some machines work in sequence and feed their finished step directly into the next machine, while the gang machines perform the same operation at one time supervised by a single operator. These factors decide the sewing of the whole garment. Finally, the sewn parts of the garment are assembled together to give final look to the apparel. Production department. The bulk production is done in the production department of any garment manufacturing and export house, and the main role of production is to create the deadline for each process and coordinate with various departments. The production department receives the required information such as style note/item description along with the sample, which gives a clear idea about the product to be manufactured. The production manager receives the details as the style of the garment, the number of operators required, the batch for which the style has to be installed, any extra kinds of machines that are to be used particularly for that style, target for each day, breakup of the production quantity, shipment schedule. The planning is done by the production people keeping in mind the intricacy and time required to manufacture the bulk and also the shipment date in mind. Once the production sheet is received by the production manager, he sources the material from different departments. Before going for proper production, the production floor does a process of batch setting for the operators, which is a training for the operators for the new style that has to be produced in bulk. This training session goes on for approximately 3 to 4 days. After this batch process, the bulk production starts. The flow of material on the production floor is through the bundle system. Each operator gets a bundle that has similar pieces. For example, one operator may be attaching a collar to the bodice while another may be attaching a sleeve. They join the pieces and move them on to the next operator for further sewing/assembly. An efficient production manager sets the target for the operators working on the floor and ensures quality in production. In-text activity 1. Visit any 2 garment manufacturing units and export houses and study their organizational setup and compare them. Quality control. The quality control department in any organization plays an important role, and maintaining of quality is practiced right from the beginning of sourcing of raw material to the final stage of the finished garment. Quality must be built into the components. It cannot be added to the product during the inspection. This is the most important lesson and should be clearly understood. The businesses, which are engaged in export business, have to sustain a high level of quality to ensure a good global image. The export businesses hold the prestige of the country and also earn foreign exchange for the country by exporting garments and other products. So, it becomes mandatory to have good quality control of their products. In textile and apparel industry, the quality is calculated in terms of fibers, yarns, fabric construction, color fastness, surface designs and the final product. However, quality expectations for exports are related to the type of customer segments. Refer to Unit 1 of Block 1, Course 1, and the retail outlets. Although there is 100% quality check on the sewing floor, an excessive number of faults find their way into the finishing. Companies should be aware about the cost of quality. Any product which is not seen in the quality control department by the quality controllers and if found faulty can lead to a loss of customer/buyer, which means no further orders. There are a number of factors on which the quality fitness of the garment industry is based, like performance, reliability, durability, visual and perceived quality of the garment, etc. ISO 9000 has laid down the broad quality parameters on which companies maintain quality in the garment and apparel industry. Finishing department. Finishing is the last step of garment production. After the garment is stitched and inspected for quality, it is brought to the finishing department. Here the garment is thoroughly checked inside out for details like measurements, care labels, trims, etc. Uncut threads are trimmed and loose threads are removed. Any kind of fabric or stitching defects are repaired, and if the garment has stains then they are removed using a stain removing machine or hand spot gun. Garments are then ironed to remove creases, properly folded and packed as per buyer's requirements. Figure 3.6. Research studies show that the costs involved in this department are excessive in almost every factory surveyed. Hence it is vital that this department is thoroughly investigated, as there lies great potential to achieve a large financial saving. Figure 3.6. Process flow in the finishing department. Look at the screen for table content. Shipping and logistics. Logistics is considered to be the complete process involving planning, managing and controlling the flow of goods and services, information, real-time data and human resources from the point of origin to the point of destination. Simply put, logistics is the management of the flow of resources between the point of origin and the point of consumption in order to meet some requirements, for example, of customers or corporations. There is hardly any manufacturing or marketing activity that can be achieved without the support of an effective logistical department. Logistics in a garment manufacturing and export unit consists of the process of integration of several aspects such as material/product/garment handling, warehousing, information, transportation, packaging and inventory. The logistics department is entrusted with the responsibilities of ensuring that the entire process of logistics is maintained and developed in accordance with the goals of the business at an economical cost. It includes a complete process of planning, managing, controlling and coordination to make sure that the goods reach the right place, at the right time, for the right cost and in the right condition. The logistics department aims at optimization of all processes in a garment manufacturing unit, and the various tasks it performs may be summarized as follows. Ensures that the business goals of the organization are in synchronization with logistics system. Drafts plans, policies and procedures ensuring that all customer requirements are met efficiently and timely. Coordinates with vendors and service providers for smooth sailing of the order. Reduces product inventory in production, supply and sales. Reduces production costs by making optimal use of available resources at all times. Ensures quality inspection for complete customer satisfaction. Coordinates with transport carriers and do route planning for efficient transportation, schedule safe and timely delivery of goods. Serves as middleman between organization, vendors and carriers for tracking down the geographical location of goods, thereby providing customer support. Thus, it can be concluded that the logistics department in a garment manufacturing unit plays an important role and is therefore rightly considered as an integral part of a modern-day organization. Apart from the above, there are accounts and human resource departments, which also help in the functioning of any garment manufacturing unit. 3.4. Workflow for an export order. The garment industry is a highly competitive global industry. To be successful, manufacturers must serve their consumer markets well. Manufacturers must produce garments that meet performance, quality and value expectations of retailers and consumers. To deliver a successful export order, there should be coordination among all the departments of the organization. All the functions must be performed, regardless of the size of the firm or product line, in order to carry out manufacturing process and meet the needs of the target market. There should be cooperation among these functional areas, as it is the key to success for a garment manufacturing firm. Since, in the previous section, you have already read about all the departments and their functioning in an export house, refer section 3.3. Let us now briefly study the workflow of an export order, figure 3.7, which is accomplished in a garment manufacturing and export unit. Figure 3.7 Order workflow in a garment manufacturing unit. Look at the screen for table content. As you can see in figure 3.7, a number of processes are involved in the manufacturing of a complete garment, right from receiving an order up to its dispatch. The process starts with a buyer inquiry and sampling is done as per buyer's specifications. This sample is then sent to the buyer for approval along with an initial estimated cost. The buyer, if satisfied with the sample, negotiates the terms and confirms the order. As soon as the order gets confirmed, the planning and purchase departments get onto their job and an order review meeting is called. After reviewing all aspects, the order is put into production and moves from one process to the other until it gets shipped. 3.5 Conclusion. We have now come to the end of this unit. This unit has elaborated upon the working of the various departments of a garment manufacturing unit. To deliver a successful export order, there should be coordination among all the departments of the organization. We have also discussed in detail the workflow for executing an order. We will now learn about the roles and requirements of a merchandiser in the next block. 3.6 Let us sum up. The Indian garment industry manufactures and exports garments at affordable prices due to cheap wage rates. Due to technological advancements and new machinery, today the Indian garment manufacturers produce better quality and well-designed garments. India's garment industry has been growing rapidly in last few years. The export orders have increased and the garment industry is of major importance to the Indian economy as it contributes substantially to India's export income. As you have studied the meaning of organizational structure, functioning of various departments and its role and importance in a garment manufacturing and export unit, it must be clear that the role of all the departments are equally important. Needless to say that the growth of organization depends on a successful organizational setup. The planning, purchasing, fabric sourcing, merchandising, sampling, cutting, production, shipping and logistics departments, etc. They all have an important role in delivering the orders, and a merchandiser is the one who deals with all the departments. An industry, which produces glamorous clothes, has to work very hard for its sustenance and end results. 3.7 Keywords. Garment manufacturing, a unit which makes and sells fashionable clothes as unit per the market needs and the orders placed by the buyers for their specific markets. Organization structure. Organization structure is the identification and grouping of work to be performed for the purpose of enabling the people to work together to get the objective and to share the work among them in an effective and efficient way so that everyone knows whom to contact for a specific problem. Custom fit. Custom fit means personalized with regards to shape and size. Apparel, clothing. Merchant, a person involved in trade, supplying merchandise to the customers. Merchandising. Merchandising is any practice which contributes to the sale of products to a retail consumer. Accessories. Accessories is a product category which includes items such as scarves, hats, gloves, belts, purses, etc. Marker. A diagram made on a thin paper that shows the best possible arrangement of pattern pieces of all sizes for a specific style to be cut from a single spread. Lab dip. A swatch of dyed fabric prepared for color approval from the buyer after dyeing few small swatches of actual fabric in varying dye percentages. Thank you for watching. We will see you in next video with next chapter.